Am I the a-hole for being upset my wife didn't stay in the hospital with me? So I, 35M, was in a motorcycle accident earlier this week. My wife, 35F, has 3 kids from a previous marriage, 17F, 10M, 5M, and we have a 1-year-old together. I had a collapsed lung and had a chest tube put in, a broken leg and arm and torn ligaments in my knee. I've been in the hospital since Monday. She came out the day of my accident and stayed until about 4 a.m. Was back that same morning but has gone home each night. Yesterday she only stayed until about 1 p.m. to prepare the house for the hurricane and didn't come at all today because the weather wasn't great and she said she didn't want to leave the kids. I told her I was upset that I basically went through everything alone. That I would have done anything to be with her. She told me she's been there as much as possible and it's not fair to dump all the kids on her daughter, especially since I'll need a lot of help when I get home and her daughter will need to help with the kids when she works. I told her marriage means through thick and thin and I feel abandoned. Now I'm getting one-word answers from her. Am I the a-hole for feeling like an afterthought? Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that her grades are more important than her pain right now? Preface, if I come off as callous it's because I'm trying to be succinct. I, 46F, have a 16-year-old daughter. In July, she was in a car accident. Most of her injuries were mild. She went to the hospital but they let her go home after a few days of observation. But even after we got home, she still complained a lot about pain. I was concerned and took her to our GP but they couldn't find anything wrong. I told her it was probably in her head and in response to the traumatic event and that she'd be fine in a few days. She stopped complaining about it after that and everything seemed good. Fast forward to yesterday and I got an email from her teacher that she's constantly despondent in class and laying her head down and not participating. I was already seeing red from that and I decided to check on her grades. She turned in multiple assignments late and lost points on them, which is not at all on par with her typical performance. I confronted her about it and she was really quiet at first, like she didn't know what to say. I pushed her on it and she started talking about pain again, which I frankly think is bullshit. She hasn't said a peep about it for 2 months, only when her grades are slipping. We started arguing about it and I said that her grades matter more than her pain. She's a junior this year, it is not the time to be slacking. She's been in her room since, refusing to talk to anyone. She wouldn't even go to school today. I'm at a loss, she's never been so difficult. And I'm questioning whether or not I'm in the right here. Am I the a-hole? Edit, I get it, I'm an awful person. I wasn't seeing past the grades and I treated my daughter horribly. Thank you especially to the medical professionals who replied, I had no idea this could be so serious. I've already booked a specialist for 2 weeks from now, earliest appointment, and apologized to my daughter. I know I still have a lot of making up to do. We're going out for ice cream. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepdad that I'll eat whatever I want in this house because I'm paying for it in front of my stepsisters? I'm 20M, currently living with my mom full-time since my dad is working out of the country. She has a husband and he has 2 daughters from a previous marriage, 12F and 14F, and my half-sibling, 6M, my mom's husband is unemployed because he was abruptly terminated, both of them do gigs here and there while he looks for a job but they barely bring money to the house. I'm in my 2nd year of uni, while working and getting money from my dad, every month, I've been paying for most of my stuff, clothes, hobbies, phone bill, etc., ever since I was 16 and when I turned 18 I began to pay rent and for my car. My mom's husband and his daughters are big eaters, I don't mind, I just started to buy my own groceries and they knew they weren't allowed to have any, though, I'd let my stepsisters take some of my snacks because I get their kids, but ever since 3 or 4 months ago, my mom has been asking me to buy this, buy that, buy this again and I've been doing their groceries too, so I'm basically paying for all of the food, plus rent, plus driving my stepsister to and from school and among other things. Yesterday we were having dinner together and I remembered I'd bought a watermelon a few days ago, it was almost all gone, but I could eat the last of it and it was okay. My stepsister said she wanted some too and I said there was barely anything left and she could have an apple of something, she said she wanted watermelon and I said sorry. My mom's husband said kids go first but I said kids have been eating watermelon for the past days and it was my turn, he looked me dead in the eye and said put it back, son. You can eat something else, so I just said I'll be eating whatever I want because I was paying for it. Nobody said anything after that and I took it to my room. Later my mom came and apologized for him, but said that I shouldn't have said anything in front of my sisters and was rude, because I was being financially abusing with my family, so IDK?